All right, so I'm gonna get right to the point and right to providing you 2 simple tips and 1 exercise that I guarantee will fix and improve your strumming as it did for me when I was a beginner and for hundreds of other students that I've taught. So here's the truth, the cold, hard truth. Strumming is hard. Unequivocally, strumming is the hardest thing for all beginners and even people who have been playing guitar for a while. It's not the chords, it's not holding the fingers down on the strings, it's strumming. And the truth is, there's no cheat code for this, there's no magic formula. I don't care what anyone says, it's just gonna take some work and some reps and some practice. That's it. So I want to give you 2 tips and 1 drill in this lesson that I guarantee will help and improve your strumming. How do you get good at anything? It's practice. Whether it's basketball or football or school or studying for an exam, you just gotta persevere and you gotta put in the work and the practice and the reps. So before I get into the first tip, I just want to encourage you right now, don't quit and don't give up. It's too easy to give up. Your guitar breakthrough and your strumming breakthrough, it literally might be right around the corner, so hang in there. So tip number 1, you need to get a thinner pick. You don't need or want a thick pick for playing songs or playing rhythm acoustic guitar. Now, if you're playing a song or a genre that requires you to pick out individual strings almost as if you were finger picking but you needed to use a pick, then yeah, like an electric guitar player, you probably want a thicker pick. But assuming that's not you, and that's not me, you need to be using a thin pick. My pick right here, it's 0.46 millimeters. It's linked in the description down below if you want to check it out. It's got flexibility, it's got some give, and to be honest, most people like the way that my guitar sounds and they have no clue what size pick I'm using. So this is a 0.46 millimeter pick. A thinner pick gives you way more flexibility and room for error, room to make mistakes and not strum perfectly when you're a beginner, because you're not gonna strum perfectly, but you're gonna be able to get away with it with a thinner pick because there's just more give. With a thick pick, this one right here is 1 millimeter. There's very little flexibility, there's very little give, which is probably why a lot of times you lose your guitar pick in this sound hole here, or the pick falls out just in the middle of your strumming because it's got very little give and requires you to be really accurate with your strumming, specifically your up strum. Look, I'm speaking from personal experience. So the second tip, when you're doing your up strum, let's say it's a down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up pattern. So we got 3 ups in that pattern. Your up strum, it's not an entire strum on all of the strings where it's literally this massive arm movement where you're strumming all the strings on the way up. It's literally just this little flick where you're catching the highest 3 strings here. You know, maybe the high E string, the B string, the G string, maybe that D string, but it's just this little flick. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, not down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. See how much more movement that is with my arm on the second time through, as opposed to just... So I'm telling you, just this little flick on your up strums is going to make your rhythm better, it's going to make your strumming smoother, and you're just gonna have a little bit more natural flow to your strum pattern. All right, so here's the exercise I want you to do. This has helped tons of students, including me, way back when I was learning and struggling with strumming. So I want you to just grab your guitar like this, and you can cover all the strings up here, you can cover them down here, I'll just do them in the middle, it doesn't matter. But I just want you to cover all the strings, and I want you to go like this, back and forth. And you can go slower, you can go faster. The thing with this exercise is we're not looking, or we're not focused on, we're not fixated on hearing how amazing something sounds or how amazing this chord sounds. We're focusing just on the fundamentals and loosening up your strumming motion and getting the fundamentals and the proper motion of strumming and incorporating that second tip, that little flick of the wrist into this. We're not doing this massive arm motion. We're just going like this. Way too often we get tense and we get tight and we get super slow and robotic when we're trying to strum. And like anything, tension, tightness, it kills any flow or any momentum. Think about like when you're trying to learn how to ride a bike or teach your kid how to ride a bike. You know, our instinct is to want to go slow and control everything, but that actually makes it harder because we're not utilizing that natural momentum of the bike. So once somebody gives that kid, or once somebody gives you a push and you start going faster, it's actually way easier. Same thing as if you're trying to like balance or walk across a log or like a balance beam or something. If you try to go really slow and you control your steps, a lot of times the slower you go, the harder it is, but when you just walk right across it with natural momentum, it's just way easier. So the same is true with strumming, and that's what this little exercise will teach you. It's gonna seem a little counterintuitive because our brains want to control everything and be a little robotic, but this exercise is gonna allow you to feel and get used to what proper strumming feels like, and it's gonna build muscle memory, and you're gonna get used to how that pick feels in your fingers, going up and down and up and down and up and down. So do this drill with different speeds. Maybe you start out with just super slow. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. I don't want there to be any of this. Down, up, down, up. I want it to have some flow. Down, up, down, up, down. That right strumming hand is always moving. And then maybe you speed it up a little bit. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And then maybe you speed it up a little bit more. And you just get used to that. And then maybe you start doing it with some chords. So take those 2 tips and that drill, and I guarantee it's going to help you a ton. And hey, if you're not subscribed to the channel here, and if you found this helpful, I'd love for you to subscribe and join the fam here. All right, see y'all in the next one.